In 2018, 44 African nations signed onto the African Union-brokered African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, to strengthen trade in Africa and make the continent's economies more competitive. 10 more African nations have since become signatories, with only Eritrea absent. Achaleke Christian Leke, the AU Youth Ambassador for Peace to Central Africa, says the AfCFTA will help Africa capitalize on its raw materials, innovative products, and market to Africans.
And even in countries where they are a bit advanced, other African countries cannot benefit, from this. And I think that's why this glorious idea of the Africa Free Trade Zone is so important. It's so timely.
The Secretariat of the AfCFTA says Africa's population of about 1.3 billion people creates a $3.4 trillion free trade bloc. The Secretariat says the trade agreement could lift 30 million people out of extreme poverty and raise income levels to 450 billion by 2035. The AfCFTA aims to break down tariffs and other barriers that often make it cheaper and faster for African nations to trade outside the continent than with their neighbors. What's more, several experts warn the AfCFTA could fail if African leaders do not address underlying challenges such as rampant corruption and poor infrastructure. Tanatsi Wadambuza, an advocate of the AfCFTA and the co-founder of Zimbabwe Institute of African Integration, says those problems hamper smaller and medium-sized businesses.
We also talk of corruption at the borders. The small and medium enterprises, the young people, the women also suffer because the police officers, sometimes they ask for bribes.
Even so, Gugulethu Siso, the founder of Chimeza, an African tech startup focused on providing credit to young entrepreneurs, says it's important that SMEs in Africa embrace the AfCFTA.
So imagine you as a youth in South Africa sitting and thinking that this thing is going to impact, it's not going to impact you, but you've got an e-commerce site, and in 2 years' time, someone like Jumia is suddenly going to be able to operate in your market with a free-for-all. How exactly do you protect your market share, right?
Siso challenges SMEs to financially and logistically prepare for the potential changes the agreement can bring to Africa. Mike Hove, VOA News, Washington.